What do you want? Ugh, you're such a big baby. What do you want? You're just a flat out liar because you're going to sit there, wag your tail, act like you don't want to talk to me, but you want the love and attention. Interesting story. So here's the thing. When I went to the Circle of Sisters, I had actually signed up to do like this contest, right? Where you can get like a free plane ticket. I won! So I was like, this is awesome. Where am I gonna go? So here's what ends up happening. I go, it turns out it's actually a timeshare. I'm gonna get in trouble right now. It turns out it's a timeshare. So they told me, we'll give you the plane tickets if you can sit with us for 2.5 hours. You are not obligated to spend any money whatsoever, but we would like 2.5 hours of your time. So I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. Now here's the problem when it comes to like things like these. I'm a little too smart for my own good because it backfires on me all the time. Like I'm too smart. Like not so smart, like I'm smart, like I'm so smart that like it just ruins things. So I get out there, they told me like, okay, you need to come all the way out over here to us. So I go all the way out there to where they were, right, which happens to be Atlantic City. It's my first time being in Atlantic City. I was expecting like lights, cameras, action. I'm sorry, I was expecting a lot from them. But when I got there, not that Atlantic City doesn't look fun, but it looks like you can catch your death out there, like you catch a cold. Like every other block was like, ooh, hotel, casino, dark alley, probably shouldn't be walking through, got it. Next one, church, next one, sex shop. What? Like there was so much confusion, and I get it. Atlantic City used to be like that. At some point back in the day, it was a great place to go. Now I feel like I was walking through Grand Theft Auto with a little bit of Saints Row mixed in there, maybe with a little bit of Fatal Frame sprinkled on top. Like that's how it looked to me, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. I gotta take pictures so people know I was here. Just know where I'm at, guys. Instagram, please find me so I can come back and haunt you mofos later. So let me embark on the journey how basically all this all started. So now I told them I'm on my way. I hop on a bus because I'm cheap. Because at first they were like, you can use our hotel for just $30 a night, and you can stay the night and be comfortable in one of our best suites. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like a promotional sale, and for $30 I could just spend a ticket to go there and come back. I'm cheap, so I won't be doing that option, but like I'll see you when I get there. So I'm on the bus, which was a nice ride. I actually fell asleep. You know, which like when I say fall asleep, what I mean is fall asleep like every other New Yorker when we fall asleep. Like your leg comes up, you know, you're kind of like doing one of these numbers, your purse is over here, you like wrap the like strap around your leg, then you interlock it with your arm, and then you go like in a corner and you're like, and that's how New Yorkers, that's how we fall asleep when we're on like public transportation, because we're afraid of sleeping and someone gonna take our stuff. So I'm on the bus, I end up waking up and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Walking around, I get outside. It doesn't help that it was like a rainy, gloomy day. So here's the thing. Now's where it's gonna get comfortable. I get an Uber ride, right? And I'm like, I need you to take me to such and such hotel. And they're like, oh, that'll be great. So I get there, and I was 30 minutes early to my appointment. And from what I was explained to, this was supposed to be like one of those appointments where it's like a room setting with a bunch of people. And it was, except it was a bunch of people with a cafeteria table and everyone's talking to you one-on-one. So they tell me, someone will be with you in 5 minutes. And I'm like, but I'm 30 minutes early. All right. So eventually I do meet the woman who's supposed to talk to me. I loved her personality. We had a great time talking, but I had already decided I was not going to spend money. And I'm not one of those clients where it's like you can talk me into spending money. If I'm buying something from you, no offense, it's not because your sales skills were so great. It's because I've decided in my head I was either one, going to purchase it, or two, I found a purpose for it. That's it. That's all you really need. I've had to decide this, and you're not gonna coax me into anything. And it's not because I'm so smart, it's just because I'm so cheap and I'm lazy, and I feel like if I'm gonna buy something, it better damn well be useful. So me and this lady were having a great time talking, and she's like, when's the last time you went on vacation? And I was like, wow, my first and last time was when I went to Japan. And she was like, oh, that's a long time ago. 12 years. You know, people say, and then she starts like talking about like stress can get to you if you don't go to vacation enough. And I was like, yeah, but I kind of do a lot of other things to relieve stress. But sure, I'll hear you on your pitch. And the whole time I can tell she's unnerved by me. It could just be the fact that I'm a Scorpio, but just saying. So, the conversation, she keeps asking me, going, you haven't asked any questions. And to me, I'm like, well, I'm interested in the product, but not interested enough to like purchase. I think the concept is great, but there's a catch somewhere, and I'm trying to figure out where the catch is. So we go on for 2.5 hours and stuff, and I'm listening to her like, and plus the rules stated I have to stay here for 2.5 hours in order to get my gift. You think I'm gonna leave early? I ain't got no weak will like that. So towards the end, so she's explaining the package to me. I'm sorry, I'm like not supposed to be sitting on stuff like this. But here's the thing. So she starts explaining to me basically what it is a timeshare. She goes, do you know anything about timeshares? And I told her the truth. I'm like, no, actually I don't know much about timeshares, but that doesn't make me stupid. So I've done a lot of jobs. I've worked in hospitals, I've worked at financial industry, I've worked in medical, I've done social media marketing, I've done a lot of jobs. And selling is what I'm good at. I mean, I'm doing entertainment for God's sakes, I kind of have to be. So she's sitting there, and every now and then she kept making these weird comments like, you're really intelligent. Okay. And I'm like, don't you sound like my ex, like that's a bad thing. What's up, bro? But so she's telling me about these timeshares where basically it's kind of like owning an apartment in different countries of the world that's part of a particular hotel resort, which is nice, I guess, if you got money to burn. However, I was skeptical of the whole thing, Scorpio kind of thing, Scorpio. So we finally get to the very end, and she's like, I think for you, 1 week a year, this program would be the best one for you, and you can pick any of the resorts that we have across the country. She showed me the resort. It was a nice, it was a cute bathroom, like, you know, like my bathroom had a cute bathroom, had a nice stove, it looked like a nice apartment. And I get it, like if you want to travel the world and have an apartment kind of there for you already, that's fantastic, that's great. However, there's got to be a catch. So she's kind of like going on and on. And then when she finally tells me it's the 1 week program, which means 1 week out of the entire year, I get to go to any place that I want to. Now here's the thing, I have to pay for my own plane ticket, but because I'm paying to own it, like I would have like a mortgage on a house, I have to pay to own it. Then there's a maintenance fee. Sneaky fellas. So there's a maintenance fee that's like $900, and I was like, I can't even find rent that's for $900. Like so like, and then she's like, well then you can also use this Atlantic City like headquarters for free for like a few days or a week, whatever you need, because this would be headquarters. And I'm like, that I can kind of see. But like after she gets to the end of her presentation, she tells me the price. $23,500. And I was like, and then on top of it, like there's a monthly payment of $400, right? And then there's a maintenance fee of $900. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself like, that's a lot of money, right? So she's looking at me like, no, this is the thing. This is how it works. So she's trying to break it down to me, and I'm like, that would take me 5 years to pay that off. And after 5 years, I still would have to pay $900 for a 1 week vacation in an apartment. I mean, like most apartments in New York City are gonna cost you about like $1,300. So for $900, at least with the rent in New York City, the $1,300 is for me to live in the apartment for 4 weeks, not 1 week. You know, because I mean, if you really divided it, you know, the $1,300 by 4, you know, it really should be around $300 just for the maintenance, considering I'm only gonna really be there for a week. I'm just saying. So I told her, nah, I'm I'm good. So like, I'm ready to leave. Now here's the thing. At some point when I had to use the bathroom, I noticed that she didn't leave me alone. Like, she hovered outside the bathroom and another employee went to go use the bathroom, and I was like, you guys got some poor techniques, but she's a good saleswoman. I know some places where you can be hired. So they don't leave me alone for a minute, and the whole point is if we let the person alone for a second, they have a moment to think. The problem is you have to decide if you have the person from the get-go. You don't tell someone, give me 2.5 hours of your time and you're guaranteed to get this, because I told her at the very beginning, I'm speaking and learning a bunch of other different languages. I'm doing a lot of things. I have multiple jobs. I got my own company. I'm doing a lot of things. I'm very focus oriented. I'm very ambitious. And I also am very keen to details. I'm also pretty decent at math. Let's start our presentation. Like, I told her all these things, and like I gave her all the official signs of that I wasn't gonna purchase by the time she got to the price, because she seemed surprised, like, but we're having such a great conversation. And I'm like, I'm an actress. I told you that. Girl, I could make you seem like we were getting married by next week. You wouldn't know the difference. So, she's confused. And I gave her all the signs. Like, I kept my coat on, you know? Because, you know, she kept asking me, take your coat off, take your coat off, take your coat off, get comfortable. And I was like, but I need you to know I ain't buying nothing. I'm not comfortable because I'm not going into my wallet to go get nothing. But that's okay, boo. We're still going to do this 2.5 hours, and we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a great time. So, she sends over her first manager. She goes, oh, my manager has to speak to you. Which was funny because in the room that we were sitting in, it wasn't like it was like even a cubicle. It was like a cafeteria room with a bunch of round tables and everyone was just talking to random people. And I'm sitting there like, that's funny because I'm right here and I didn't hear your manager say he needs to talk to me. Just saying. But no, I'm saying though, really. So her first manager, his name was like, let's call him Charlie. And he sat down and he goes, this is what I'm gonna do for you. I'm gonna cut down the pricing. Blah 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 price blah blah cut blah blah half blah 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 blah. And he goes, $13,000. Bam. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, you took off $10,000 just for me? Wow, that must be what the actual price is. You must give the $23,000 to suckers. So, I'm serious, because all I can really think of is like the $23,000, that's for suckers. So, he starts telling me like how it cuts the monthly payment. Like everything got cut in half. The monthly payment is still $200, and now $200. The entire price for the whole thing is still it's $13,000. But yet in my math in my head, I'm like, it's still gonna take me about like 5 years, about or change, to still pay this off because you guys have it within an 84-month term. Like I'm looking at the math, baby. So I'm like, you gonna wait till I take a few years to pay this off? And the funny part is, everything was cut in half except the maintenance fee. So it was like, so if I did 13, let's say if I just had that money, I was like, bam, 13 grand, right? And I still gotta pay, and that's paid for. I gotta still pay $900 a year just to use your facilities for a week. I don't know about that, because I kind of feel like with $900, I could probably get like a nice hotel at the Marriott for like a week and still have some change to go shopping, because I booked the Marriott before for like $80 and I was only there for 3 days. So let's say if I use that $900, yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of money for shopping. Just saying. So the guy looks at me, and the more he keeps learning about me, he's like, you're very smart. What kind of vacation places are you looking at? And I'm like, it's on the sheet. You know, he's like, oh, Japan. So that's a great place. Hawaii, nice. Iceland, which is true, I've been dying to get out there. So he's like, Iceland, London. These are great locations, and we have places here that will get you to these locations. You can get to Japan. particularly Hokkaido. I just want to mention it's like really north. Not that I have an issue with Hokkaido, but like don't advertise to me like it's Tokyo, and it's not. So, so he continues talking, and when he said it, I didn't want to be mean to him per se, but I was like, I'm gonna hold my tongue. He goes, all the locations you have picked are really warm locations except Iceland. I mean, I don't know many people who want to go to Iceland because, you know, it's nothing but ice out there. So don't say anything. Okay, don't say anything. Don't say anything. I don't know many people would want to go to Iceland, but you know, we can still get you all those locations. I hear they got great spas. And I was just kind of like, I maybe tried to do that. It's like, I'm sorry. Sometimes when I do sound effects, I'm thinking of when AOL on the internet first came out and there's a little red guitar. That was my avatar icon. So, when he did that, it was like, and it was like, I see what you're saying. Do not be covered in the ice of Iceland. And it's funny because this representative was looking at him from behind me next to you doing this. Don't say don't say that. You're sounding stupid. So I was like, I'm not gonna say that. I'm just gonna be like, oh really? Well, I guess London's pretty warm all year round. They never have snow there. He actually just ends up giving up. So I was like, all right, done my 2.5 hours. Give me my stuff. So here's where the gold comes in, right? So I overheard them telling this guy, like, I can tell, she's not gonna do it. She's just not gonna do it. So, this big black guy, right? Hold on, I gotta position myself. Because I guess they thought I would give into his chocolateness or whatever. But let me describe him for a second. He was like a pompous ass of a whole other high level that most people can't even attain, because he actually had his new game plan to what it would be, and I kid you not, I wish I could say I was making this up, but I'm not. He walks up to the table, he looks at me, throws the sheet on the table, and was like, BAM! That's what I could do for you. And I looked at him like, really? Really? Come on, son. That's not, you didn't even try. You didn't even try. So now he sits down at the table, and I wonder if I could do this right. So he's at the table, right? And he's like, look. I'm serious. That's how he was sitting there, like, looking at me, like, yeah, I'm tough. And I'm looking at him like, let's go. So this dude was as big as my boss. For AHR Visions, and it's funny because like Abdul's like a giant dude, but he's like a little teddy bear. He's a real teddy bear. Like he's like, yeah. And then like you realize he's just a teddy bear. You're like, oh my god, teddy! But that's not what this guy was. So, he's like, so what's the problem? Like, let me see how I could work this out for you. And I'm looking at him like, y'all don't set the most like dumbest gay brother over here, but let's try it. So I'm looking at him. He's got a cheap suit on, a peach shirt. I mean, like, he looked like a bootleg pimp. So like, I'm just sitting there looking at him like, I'm sizing you up, but since you feel like intellectually challenging me, I feel like I gotta be a Scorpio about this. So he's sitting there and he's like, you know, you sound like the kind of person who's always taking care of other people, taking care of this, but who's gonna take care of you? And I looked at him, I said, me. That's my point exactly. And I was like, yeah, I don't think you understand, sweetheart. I take care of me. I have been taking care of me for a long time. I have always been independent. My parents, when I was born, had to teach me how to crawl because the first thing I did was try to stand up on my 2 feet to go walk. Like, I'm independent. It's just in my nature. So, he tries, like, you know, finding out, like, what about this? And he looks at how I'm dressed and he's like, you're very eclectic. You remind me of my wife. And my first thought was, that's insulting. I would have never married you. And although that sounds like a jerk move, I'm being dead ass about it. Because he was just really like very pompous, supercilious, arrogant, everything you could possibly think of in a can. And he's really really confident, like, this sale's gonna go through. So he continues chatting me, right? So then he decides to take a different salesperson's approach, right? Which is to make the person feel like, if you don't take this offer, you'll never have an opportunity like this ever again. And I was like, what? To own a part of a hotel and be contracted to them? No! Y'all love it. So, he decides to come up with a different program and was like, why don't we do half a deed, right? Where it's still 1 week, but you do it every other year. And I was like, every other year, I'm still paying $13,400 a month, and I'm only gonna go on vacation for every other year, and I still gotta pay that maintenance fee? Y'all not listening. like I found out later that the maintenance fees were the catches for these timeshares, and I'm not gonna name the company because that's rude, and they come after my little company. I ain't got money to back them up just yet. So he's really cocky and arrogant. So he attempts to go like, well, medically speaking. Now remember that part of the video earlier where I said I have background like working at a hospital? Now don't get me wrong, I did food nutrition, but I will study everything there is to natural medicine and how to take care of the body. I will do the alternative medicine when necessary, which is why when I go to the doctors, I generally tell them what I need. Like, I irritate them. They're like, another one that reads. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, I irritate them. So he's trying to tell me, like, when you're, like, stressed out, you know, you need a vacation. You owe yourself that. And I was like, I do. He's like, you haven't been on vacation for 12 years. And I'm thinking to myself, bruh, that ought to tell you something. If it takes me 12 years, since the first and last time that I've ever been on vacation, and I don't feel the need to go on one anytime soon, that should tell you something, that I can last a long time before I need to go spend any money on a vacation. I travel for work, not for anything else. I'm like, I'm also a workaholic. So when I'm not working, I don't know what to do with myself. I genuinely like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm a busybody, okay? So if I go on vacation for too long, I'm probably just gonna shut down and my mind's gonna just explode. I'm gonna end up in an asylum, okay? And I'll be like the new baby of like Sucker Punch. I'm just saying. But like I need to be like doing stuff. So he continues like, well, what do you do to relieve stress? And I was like, I do Kung Fu. I do Kung Fu. And I'm like, I do Kung Fu for work and to relax and to stay fit and healthy. It's a win-win-win. So he doesn't even listen to what I'm saying like most men. So he goes, and he continues to like go for his pitch, right? So he's a big guy. And now I can tell at this point, he's trying to like use his size to like intimidate me. And I'm looking at him like, I beat boys up like you in Kung Fu class. Try me. So he's looking at me and he's continuing. And then he's like, well, I don't understand. Like and I told him, I said, my only interest in this is the fact that I would have access to multiple locations, and it means for working, for filming, covering different segments and stuff like that. But the money, I'm not willing to put up for it because I'm not seeing the benefits strong enough for me to be like, my money is worth it. Don't get me wrong, I paid money in certain places that are considered scams that even I know would be a scam, but there was something there that I wanted that I could not get anywhere else. So I didn't mind paying the money for it. I didn't mind. Do you get what I mean? Like, I don't mind doing that kind of thing. But do not talk to me like you gonna convince me to spend my money when I've already decided the answer is no. He's looking at me and then he's like, well, what do you mean? Like, this is not even a vacation to you? And I'm like, no, this would be me for using it for work. And that's exactly why I don't feel like I need to go on vacation, because when I'm in there doing my eagle claw and I'm doing everything and I'm doing all my forms, that stuff relaxes me. It also allows me to stay fit, strong. I mean, check out these guns and pretend you can see them through the shirt. Thank you. And you know, I do all this, but it also allows me to work and prep for my role. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I find ways to do it because I'm smart like that. No, I'm kidding. No, but I'm serious. Like, and he was getting really upset with me. So then he tries to tell me like, well, we have different programs based on your credit. And I was like, oh, now my credit's a problem? Because before y'all was trying to pitch me with based on money, and now you want to tell me that my credit may not be worth it. I'm gonna tell you what my credit. He goes, oh yeah? What's your credit score? And I gave him my credit score down to a T. And he looked at me and goes, what well, how do you know what the exact number is? And I'm like, because I have several programs to keep track of my credit, and anyone who decides to play anything underneath my name, they will be heavily investigated. And he just looks at me like, oh, she fancy, like she fancy. And all I can think of is like, do you want me to be ghetto with you right now? Wow. Like, would that communicate with you? And if I said it to you in a ghetto tone, would, you know, hell no. Would that tell you still that I'm not gonna spend my money? So, he's sitting there like, what about this? What about that? And I'm like, the answer is no. So finally he gives up. But I didn't let him leave just yet. I wanted to crush his pride. Okay, so he's like, tell me more about this comic book company, because now he wants to get smart, right? So he's getting a little feisty, a little nasty. He's like, yeah, I could take her. And I'm like, bro, I'm from New York. So he goes, well, tell me more about this comic. I got cut off, but he's like, tell me more about this comic book. You know, he's got this cocky attitude about it. And I'm like, alright, I will. So I break down the character and I'm like, she's a black and nice little kung fu girl. And you know, that's when the kung fu thing really starts to like set in, and he starts looking at me, and I'm sitting there looking at him like, yeah, I'd deck you in a minute. See, I may do kung fu, but I'm still born from the ghetto. So he's sitting there like, okay. And I'm like, if you want, you can look us up. So now here's where the sales pitch from their end changes. And I was like, actually, because he was getting cocky, and I was like, if you actually Google my name, you could actually Google me for my first name and my last name, or if you want, you can use my acronym, nickname, stage name. You can look up Cadma. And it's funny because the girl who was originally selling me this timeshare was like, oh my god, I'm gonna look you up. And I was like, bam, new customer. What about you? How about that? So and he's sitting there like looking at me like, I'm not gonna look you up, but I can see him with his cell phone. Like, I don't see you. So, eventually he gives up. Now they're like, the fourth person will get her. So he's like, what if we did a trial and you can see what it is that you want? And I'm looking at him like, there still has to be a catch, because you guys are more than willing to change the prices of everything except the maintenance fee for every year, which is $900. That's got to be where the catch is. So the last guy looks at me, right? And I respected him for this flat out. He looks at me, he goes, where are you from? And I said, New York. He goes, ah, you're a New Yorker. He goes, you know, I already heard a lot about you before you came over here. And I said, I bet you did, because I get that everywhere I go. So he goes, and I've told them all, he goes, when you get a New Yorker, you gotta do the come on approach. I said, the come on? He goes, yeah, you get to the point. He goes, because if you talk on too much and for too long, the first thing that the New Yorker does goes, come on, get to it. And I couldn't stop laughing, and I was like, yeah, that's true. So he looks at me, he goes, I'm not going to try my best to force you or sell you into this. I'm going to tell you about the trial offer. So he tells me about the trial offer. He goes, do you think this will benefit you? I said no. He goes, you know, I used to do entertainment back in the day. He goes, and you get kind of spoiled and used to people flying you places so you could do jobs. He goes, so this doesn't even sound like it would be even up your alley just because you're in entertainment. And I said, boom! Now someone's got it. He goes, yeah, I got you. Don't even worry about it. You can go, sweetheart. And I was like, my gifts? I got them. But yeah, the thing about it is that, like, if you decide, if you already did a timeshare, I hope it worked out for you. But like, to me, I don't think they're worth it. I think they're a scam. Like, you hovered around me, sent 4 people after me, like they were strong enough to take me. So, but it was cute though. It was cute. But I got a plane ticket. Now I can go to Japan and visit my Japanese teacher. That would be kind of cool. I don't know what I can do with the plane ticket yet. But I'm just happy with the fact that I got it, and I'm holding on to it, because I'm like, where am I gonna go? London? No, because if I go there, I'll probably never come back. I'm just saying. But because there's too many cute guys out there with sexy accents. Come on. But yeah, so but yeah, if you're out there and you're like, if you came across a timeshare and they said they're gonna give you a gift, withstand them and then get your gift. But no, it was just a crazy experience that I got a kick out of for 2.5 hours of my time, but it was worth it. And then after I got my gifts and I left, I still got the chance to walk around the city that looked like Grand Theft Auto inside of a desert, kinda, for me. Because I'm not kidding when I say that I was inside the Uber car, it was like, oh, casino hotel, Casino hotel, vacant, empty, dead lot. Sex store, vacant, empty, dead lot. Church, and I'm like, you probably would need to go to after spending too much time there if you didn't catch your death there. I'm just saying. But thank you so much for listening. I hope my experience might give you guys some more insight about timeshares, because I didn't know much about them. It's not something I would recommend anyone spend their money on. But yeah, it was, and the most awkward part is I'm in the Uber cab coming back, and the Uber cab was like, oh my god, I just bought my timeshare with them just recently. It's me, my sister, and my other sister-in-law. All three of us are paying for it. And I felt so bad because I was kind of talking trash about it. And all I could tell her was, well, you're in the contract, so I hope you guys are getting the best of your money. Yeah, I gotta call you later. Yeah, no, apparently she bought the timeshare that I was just bad-mouthing to you, that I thought was a scam. Yeah, nah, I don't want to make her feel bad. I don't know, because she's gonna feel bad. She obviously feels bad. Okay, bye. Yeah. Whatever works. But yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and I do hope that helped you in learning about timeshares, because really what it is you're paying for a piece of property to go anywhere you want. It's like kind of like having your own apartment in different locations of the world, which sounds fantastic, but that maintenance fee doesn't stay the same. It just keeps increasing until you actually default or go in debt, and then they own you. Clever. I'm not saying it's all of them. I'm just saying, I just think it's strange that you're willing to chop up the price and drop 10 grand and not change the maintenance fee. There's got to be a catch around this somewhere. And I am out. Ow! I don't know. I'm trying a new ending. You guys need to tell me what to do for an ending, because I feel like doing whoop whoop. I feel like that's my opening, and I need help. I mean, in more ways than one, but that's not what we're discussing. We're discussing about the ending of my show. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this episode was fun for you. I hope you learned something, and I hope it was entertaining. Please, dear God, like, comment, share. Don't be selfish. Don't be selfish. You should share me, because I got my face somewhere and my little headshot, and you should just click on it so you can subscribe. But I do want to hear comments. Tell me your experiences about timeshares, what you know about them, some kooky story that happened to you. Did you have a big black guy kind of like doing the Final Fantasy move, you know, to be like, yeah, you're gonna take this timeshare, you're gonna spend that money, you're going to do as I say, it was so much fun crushing his man balls verbally in my head. It was so much fun. And if he ever comes across this video, I was never going to give in, but it was cute that you tried.